Hey everyone. So here's a little story that happened Friday that got me thinking about the whole like learning tunes and knowing tunes in our lives. I went out to see a friend of mine play, a drummer. He was playing with his guitar players trio in town, and I went to check them out. I didn't really have anything to do, and they were sounding good. I came in to check them out. There was another guitar player sitting in, so two guitars, bass, and my buddy on drums. And I didn't really know the guitar players personally, so I was just laying back, checking out the set. My friend kind of made the introduction in between tunes, like, Ricardo plays guitar, maybe you could play a tune or something, and I'm like, which was, very nice of him. And I was just like, I'd be down to play. I didn't really have my guitar on me. The guitar player that was sitting in offered to lend me his guitar, which was very kind. I was like, man, okay, absolutely. And so I was sitting in, and we had that little moment of like figuring out what to play, right? So it was like, what do you want to play? I'm like thinking about it. And then he just sort of launches into it. He was like, how about and the band just sort of takes off after him. And then I'm like, I went through a moment where it was really interesting because like my brain was like, oh, I definitely know that tune. And then it went into a very slow motion as he was playing the melody. It just sort of started going. I was like, what is the key again? And it was just kind of, because I knew it was, it was a bird tune, obviously. And I was just like, which one of them is it? It's like, of course, it's ornithology. And I've played that tune a bunch of times, but I haven't played it in a few years, actually. But at the same time, so I was like, don't panic, just let it, hear it out. Like, okay, that change, okay, that goes into that. And then he would just sort of like, as he was wrapping up the melody, he just sort of turned around and gave me the nod to go first. And I just sort of went after it. And, I remember, it's G, and then I know the 2/5 that comes after that. And then with that, of course, you start putting it together. And it sort of made me think about the nature of like knowing and learning a tune. If you had asked me then what the tune was, like, of course I can play ornithology, I know what it is. At that point, I really didn't know, and I couldn't tell you ornithology. And I couldn't tell you the changes. If you had me recite the changes to you, I probably wouldn't know. But then once I knew, it was like G, and then I sort of started following my own feet. And it's almost like you're moving, and the road is building itself as you walk. Do you know what I'm saying? You sort of hear the tune, and it sort of starts coming in together. If you had given me like 30 seconds, I could have put the melody together and remember, oh yeah, that's, but sometimes you don't have 30 seconds. It's right there and there, so you have to do what you can. And that's where your ear and your learning tunes helps you out. So I think a lot of times we see people that have like these huge repertoire of thousands of tunes. It's not that they can quote you and write, they can probably if they think about it, but it's more about them hearing the tune out and just playing it out for you. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know, something fun that happened, and ornithology is a great tune. I'm going to bring it back. Goodbye.